Howdy. Today is March 14th, and if you read the other clips I had, the reason I'm doing this, I explained that. This is the second one. I'm gonna be very focused on the news of the COVID-19, and then I analyze and express my take about it. And my goal again is as a citizen of this country. When I say it in English, I mean like for here, mostly by large. Hopefully, somebody would hear and would impact some ideas, some ignite some ideas, some improvement. This is our fight. Is a fight against this virus. We can do it, but we have to use, our brain and great management. I have the philosophy and management background, so I can't help it but to express it and to be useful here. So hopefully, by the way, this hand's very sanitized, washed. I left the house, and so I am on isolation mood now. I don't, I think, I don't think I am sure. So I washed that 100 times, and I trust this water more than the water I drink at home. So it's delicious, actually, more even delicious than the bottled water we have. So what's going on? About a couple of days ago, the World Health Organization declared that it's an epidemic now, finally. Usually they're late. I think there's some criticism against that, because countries that probably move fast and will take it more serious. Still tons of people don't know where the coronavirus. The other day, I swear to God, a couple of days ago, I had somebody I met an American 3 days ago. Says, this is Democrat thing. Plot, or this is the Democrat, what was this said exactly? Democrat doing that, it's just a hoax. So still people, but fortunately I think they catch up with news are unfolding very fast. So only very, very, very stupid or fanatic about some ideas, religious or someone not, they would ignore that. But average American, I think, may be stupid and they don't know things, but by the way they rush to the if you go to the grocery stores, they're getting the message. But still there. I already stocked up things 2 weeks ago. Believe it or not, I knew this coming. I predicted a lot of things and happened right in Iran. Same thing here. I said it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna predict what's gonna ahead of us. How we can, hopefully in other clips I should cover that because there's too much information. But let me give you the news. So who says is epidemic is like polio now? And in the U.S. statistically, we have 1,641 deaths. For the population of U.S. is that number. When you hear that, I wouldn't care. I would go shopping. I would go drink. I would go anywhere. I go to concert. If that's based on that numbers, but that's not the numbers. I don't believe it. I don't think they lie about number of 41. Probably maybe 45, 50 top deaths that related, but 41 they screen and they know that, and some maybe died because of corona, but they had other complication, and so they not classify that, and they not intentionally, I'm sure. But 1,600 is the number we have record. But as of the last, and I'm sure now it's by close to 2,000 might end up today, which is Saturday. So that's the number we're hearing. I think is at least 20 times more. So we talk about from 30,000, 40,000 to even 400,000, 500,000 people are probably infected as we're talking now. That's my estimate, personal, and that's how I think about things. The main bottleneck that we have here is the test kits. President did pretty good job. I think he was very decisive. I give him credit when the outbreak happened, and he banned all the Chinese and the flights to U.S. I think this was not discriminative. It was some maybe tough macho way approaching that, and I never criticized that. I think he was wise on that. He was decisive on that. He was totally right about that. However, since then he was not as hard on other things. And even he tweeted some things that people say stupid and all that. But I think he's the same president come back very hard just last night on the case. So there is a window that was stupidity going on at all levels. I think Democrats can now push him, but they're not saint either. Trust me. So coming from independent position, that give you that flexibility. You can see both sides, and you don't have to kind of side with anybody. Just side with the truth. I don't encourage everybody to be independent, but I understand people can be affiliated with the parties. But anyways, back to the numbers. So test kits, we are still struggling with that. I know as a mechanic, it's not like we don't have technology, or we don't have scientists, or we don't have labs, or we don't have resources. We have tons of it, but we are fighting with the speed of the virus. As we talking, the virus is going, probably now if now the number is 1,600 according to them, which I think is like 50,000. By next week, this time is, at least in the lower, their number gonna jump to at least 4,000 or 5,000 and more. But I think it's like a couple of million people. We talk about that. So to fight that, the goal is to identify people who have it, their networks, and quarantine them, and go through that 14 process and fix them, and not let them back to the society. That's what it takes to do. And then you need a law enforcement, because there are a lot of stupid people out there. You tell them don't leave their house, they're gonna leave. I know them. You know how I know they will leave their house? Because when you go to shopping, I saw them in the line. What do you think they were stocked up? I saw soda, I see potato chips, I saw junk food, and look at my own, I had 2 items that I forgot to get, or whatnot, meat and last thing I wanted to get, and I said, these people, how are we gonna manage them? So they're all gonna be carrying. You want them to cover their mask? You want them to stay in home? You kidding me? A lot of 10, 15, even 2%, even 1% American would be like that is stupid, which I think about 30% like that. It doesn't matter, cross all racial, cross cultural thing, what would happen? I mentioned other clip about a Chinese woman were touching it. It's not true. I saw a woman from Middle East, same thing, or American white Muslim. I don't know what was that, but she was touching it. So it's not. If people go shopping around, it's always in their culture, in their blood. They used to touching things and selecting like a clothes, But they don't get it. This is not a time to touch things when you go. That's why I asked the store manager there. Sorry, no lie. But I wanted to talk to him. I talked to actually employee there. You should have for every aisle, people have somebody hired that don't let people touch things. You give them the gloves. See, it's not going on. Flights going on right now. These are wrong. These are wrong. Well, maybe we see. I see bad things coming. I hope not. I hope totally I'm wrong. God, the vision I have. Is we have issue in our hand, and I think President got that very right, and they declared national emergency so he released 50 million and numbers I tell you, and back to that test case I really want to get into that. South Korea, as of yesterday, right, they already have done about 100,000 tests. Population is 51 million, and I calculate that is for every 510 people they had one test already. So it means that they truly focus on one strategy: identify who has it and their network, and do the right measure, quarantine it or whatever they have to do. So that's their strategy. Rather than blocking people and closing the cities and businesses and things like that. I think that's very smart for their needs. Every country has its own way. I think maybe mix up that. I think for US that would have been better strategy right now. I mean, for God, mix up that, because we may be too late. Certain area definitely you want quarantine, but areas that the test cases is the key right now as we're talking. It's like life and death for controlling this. So South Korea, so for 510 people, same calculation done for UK. They have done 50,000 tests, population 66 million, So 1,326 person per test. One test, about 1,300 people. US, look at that number. We have done only 13,600 tests by yesterday. Population 327 million of us, and we have for every 24,000 American here, one test. That's bad, man. So they got the message, and I think President, I mean, they were pushing it last week, and I was hearing like 1 million test kits, but I have not followed the news in detail of that. We don't have the time, but I think what I heard, by end of the next week, we're gonna have 1.5 million test cases, and even if we have that, I don't know, I calculated that would be very encouraging if we manage to push that. But every day, every hour, you don't have those test kits, and people are you know, if they suspect, any American suspect, you know, has to have a right, is for better of all of us to be able to test easily. In matter of fact, I wish we had mandate this, like everybody has to have a test, healthy or no healthy, go through these tests and screening. Everybody with Social Security, you got to have it. You know, with the car, you go through the system, they test you, you walk out, you got it, you can go live back. If you have any sign, you know, we support you, we take care of you until you get ready back to the society. That's the only way to control it. I see if we don't do fast enough, we're gonna be 2% risk of people dying. People with, you know, my age group, I'm 60 years old, I have no health issue, you know, exercise, I eat right, everything, but I know my weakness on coughing in the winter. I'm very sensitive to things. I don't want to hit my lung. So I will talk about that too, maybe another clip, how to handle the situation. So I bypassed that. So we are bad with test kits. Hopefully this week we overcome that. Also in the news we had President of Brazil was here, that you know, Bolsonaro, you know, he thinks like President Trump, a populist president over there, you know, right-winger, you know, except that I heard he's very educated and smart. But anyways, he was with some colleague with him that he next to the president, and he had he is a positive with the virus. So hopefully the president will be tested today as we're talking. But you know, it's amazing, the guy. He handshake while we are, you know, it's not best practice not to do it. I won't tell people don't handshake, and yet he go around and handshake. So these are defects with Trump, but it's Trump. But he has that decisiveness and a tap and rich mentality that you know, crash things with the money. I think that sometimes works. Hopefully that money he easily with that national emergency declaration of 500 million with Democrats, you know, they work together, and in with a few days, this is unprecedented. That's great. So the implication of that, money will be available. Everybody will be tested regardless of what background. You know, we will be covered no matter you have insurance. You have, you know, I mean, I wish everybody had a coverage, but we don't, unfortunately. National coverage, you should have. That's my opinion. You know, healthcare is just a right. But anyway, and I'm not even a Democrat to say that. In this case here, we notice that. So we have to tell everybody. You have to. Now it's just news, right? Tell people, hey, you are covered. Don't worry about it. Covered for your work, covered with expenses. Don't worry about it. Just come up, because we don't want a stupid, cheap, you know, or in economically deprived person that is even intelligent. Trust me, I'm financially struggling with that. I'll tell you later on other clips how I'm managing that. But another thing, what happened that President did right, I think ban on all the flights from Europe, especially of course Italy and Germany, France. You know, they're gonna bitch about it. Too bad. You know, for 1 month, I think gonna go extended if it had to be. It's gonna be cost to people, businesses, but that's what it takes to, once you're in facing an enemy that we don't see it. It's enemy. It's real enemy. It's very dangerous things, and they were right on that. But I think with the restriction limit, giving leverage to UK. We have to monitor that, and the subject to change anytime. If this expand in Europe further, in UK, and people, if they can go through UK and come to US, how do you know? What measure you have to test, and that's another thing. Calling all the Americans come back to US, that was beautiful, and hopefully all of them, they go for 2 weeks of not just trusting them staying home. This is something I don't like about it. You say, okay, you stay 2 weeks quarantined at home, but would that happen? How do you know? That's why I think it's not that difficult to find an electronic device. Just do it radically to everybody. That's what I would do. It doesn't matter. We trust you, we trust you, but that's what we part of the process. We lock it up. You stay home. As soon as you move GPS, tell me. I send the police. I arrest you right there. That's what I would do. But I don't think they do that. That's why they should hire me to work for them, and they keep me unemployed. That's America as it is. U.S. internal flights. I just show you, but it cut. I think they've been cutting that, but it's going on. We had first pilot that, I can hear the flights. The first United, I think, airline pilot that was identified has the become positive. So we are in flights are very dangerous. I don't think it's safe. I don't think people should fly. Not because you're young you can do it, but you carry on with the virus. And I think I mentioned briefly about popular reaction to in the shopping center. So these are the people we talk about. They were fighting over some boxes of, I don't know, or toilet paper or whatnot. That was nonsense. And these people, you want to educate them and control them with this virus. So we are at risk unless we save the big fast act on the test kits.